Good morning, students. There are two important theorems in the section 4 which generally comes in 16 marks in exams. One of the theorems is Wedderburn-Artin theorem and the second one is Hilbert-Bess's theorem. So in today's lecture, we will discuss Wedderburn-Artin theorem. In this theorem, our aim is to prove that any left Artinian ring with unity without non-zero nilpotent ideals is a finite direct sum of matrix rings over division rings. And in order to prove this theorem, first of all, we will prove a lemma. So if the theorem comes in 16 marks, you will have to prove this lemma also. So let us discuss the lemma. Let A be minimal left ideal of a ring R. Then we are to prove that either A square is 0 or A is equal to RE. Here this E is an idempotent in the ring R. So we are given A is minimal left ideal of the ring R. Minimal left ideal means, by definition, this A will be non-zero ideal, and if we consider any other left ideal J of the ring R such that J is contained in A, then either this J will be zero ideal or J will be same as A. So this is the definition of minimal left ideal of the ring R. Now we have to prove that either A square is zero ideal or A is equal to RE. If A square is zero ideal, then our result is proved. So let us consider the case when A square is non-zero. Now A square is non-zero means A into A is non-zero. So we can take a non-zero element A belonging to A such that A into the element A is non-zero. Because if we consider A into A is equal to 0, then for every element B belonging to A into A is equal to 0 will imply B into A is equal to 0. Now this belongs to A belongs to A, so B into A belongs to A square, so A square will be 0 and we will get a contradiction. So we can say that if A square is non-zero, then A into the element A, that will also be non-zero. Now because A is left ideal of the ring R, so A into A, that will also be left ideal of the ring R, and also A into A is non-zero and that is contained in R into A, and R into A, that is again contained in A because A is left ideal of the ring R. Thus from here we can say that A into A is non-zero left ideal of the ring R which is contained in A, but A is minimal left ideal of the ring R. So by definition of minimal left ideal, we can say that this ideal A into A, that must be same as A. Thus we have obtained A into A is same as A. So we can say that if an element belongs to A, then that will belong to the left ideal A into A. Now A belongs to A, so from here we can say that A belongs to A into A. So what will be the form of this element A? One element from A that we have taken as E. So A can be written as E into A. Now in this expression, we can again put the value of A, which is E into A. So from here, we can say that E into A is equal to E square A. It means EA minus E square A is equal to 0. It means E minus E square into A is equal to 0. Now, let us consider B, which is the collection of all those elements x of A for which x into A is 0. Now we claim that this B is left ideal of the ring R. So first of all, let us check that B is non-empty. Now because 0 element belongs to A and also 0 into A is 0 into A is 0. So this condition is satisfied. So we can say that this 0 element belongs to B. So we can say B is non-empty. Now the conditions for ideal. If we take two elements x1 and x2 belonging to B, we have to prove that x1 minus x2 belongs to B. Now because x1 belongs to B, so by definition of B, x into A is equal to 0. So here, because x1 belongs to B, so x1 into A is equal to 0. Similarly, for x2 belonging to B, we have x2 into A is equal to 0. So x1A minus x2A, that will be 0. So we have obtained x1 minus x2 into A is equal to 0. So by definition of B, we can say that x1 minus x2 belongs to B. Now the second condition for being to be left ideal. Let us take an element R belonging to the ring R, an element X belonging to B. Now because X belongs to B, so by definition of B, X into A will be 0. Now let us find Rx into A. This can be written as R into XA. X into A is 0. So we have proved Rx into A is equal to 0. So this proves that the element Rx belongs to B. So both conditions for being a left ideal are satisfied by B. So we can say that B is left ideal of the ring R. Now, because the element E belongs to A and E into A is same as A and A is non-zero, so we can say that E into A is non-zero. So we can say that E does not belong to B, because by definition of B, B is the set of all those elements of A for which the element into A is equal to 0. Means if an element X belongs to B, then X into A must be 0. But here, because E into A is non-zero, this condition is not satisfied by the element E. So E does not belong to B. So we can say that B is properly contained in A. Now, because A is minimal left ideal of the ring R, so by definition of minimal left ideal, either A and B should be same or B must be 0. But A and B are not same, so we can say that B must be 0. Now, we have already proved E minus E square into A is 0. This condition is satisfied by the element E minus E square. So we can say that the element E minus E square belongs to B. But we have proved B is 0. So we can say that E minus E square is 0. It means E square is same as E. So we have proved E is an idempotent. Now we are to prove that A is generated by E. To prove this, let us take J is generated by E. Generated by E means J will be of the form R into E. Then R into E will be contained in A because this element E belongs to A. And this is J. So we can say that J is contained in A. Now the element EA, that is same as A, and A is non-zero. So E into A must be non-zero. So E should also be non-zero. And E is belonging to J. So we can say that J is non-zero. Now let us combine these two conditions. Thus we have obtained J is non-zero and J is contained in A. But A is minimal left ideal of the ring R. So by definition of minimal left ideal, either they should be same or J should be 0, but J is non-zero. So we have only one possibility, that J must be same as A. So we have obtained J is equal to A. Now because J is generated by E, so we can say that A is generated by E. So this completes the proof of this lemma. Now let us turn towards our main theorem, Wedderburn-Artin theorem. The statement of the theorem is, let R be a left Artinian ring with unity. We can consider this ring R to be right Artinian also, but here we will consider here as left Artinian ring with unity. And R has no non-zero nilpotent ideals. Then we are to prove that R is isomorphic to finite direct sum of matrix rings over division rings. So in this theorem, first step is to prove that every non-zero left ideal of the ring R is of the form of Re, where E is some idempotent in the ring R. So let us take a non-zero left ideal of R. We have taken A to be non-zero left ideal of the ring R. We claim that A is of the form of R into E, where E is an idempotent in the ring R. To prove this, let us consider a family F1, the family of all those B which are contained in A, and B is non-zero left ideal of R. Now because A is non-zero left ideal of R, so A will belong to this family F1. So we can say that this family is non-empty family of left ideals of R which are contained in A. Now because we are given the ring R is left Artinian ring, so by definition of left Artinian, this family F1 must have a minimal element. Let us take B is the minimal element of this family. So we can use the previous lemma. According to that lemma, if A is minimal left ideal in a ring R, then either A square is zero ideal or A is equal to Re, where E is some idempotent in the ring R. Here in place of A we have B. So by using the lemma we can say either B square is 0 or B is equal to R into E. Now if we consider B square is equal to 0, let us find BR whole square, means BR into BR. R into B is again contained in B. So BR into BR is contained in B square R. B square we have taken as 0. So we get BR whole square is equal to 0. So by definition of nilpotent ideal, we can say that BR is nilpotent ideal of the ring R. But we are given in the statement that the ring R has no non-zero nilpotent ideals. It means if we have a nilpotent ideal in the ring R, then that must be zero ideal. So this ideal B into R, that is zero ideal. It means if we take an element B belonging to B, then because the ring R has unity, so B can be written as B into 1. 1 means unity. This belongs to B into R. But B into R, that is zero ideal. So the element B becomes 0. This B is arbitrary element taken from B. So that becomes 0, implies that B is 0, which is a contradiction because B is non-zero. So we have the possibility B is equal to RE, because if we consider B square is equal to 0, then we are having a contradiction. So we have proved B is equal to R into E. Now B is contained in A and E can be written as E into E because E is idempotent. E into E belongs to RE. From here R into E is B and B is contained in A. So we can say that E belongs to A and also is non-zero. So we have proved A contains a non-zero idempotent. It means every non-zero left ideal of the ring R contains a non-zero idempotent. So we can consider a set of all the non-zero idempotents in A. So let us take S be the set of all the non-zero idempotents in A. So S will be non-empty. Now let us consider a family F2 of left ideals of the ring R. These left ideals we have taken R into 1 minus E intersection A, where this E that belongs to S means E is non-zero idempotent in A. Now because S is non-empty, so we can say that this family of left ideals of the ring R will also be non-empty. Now because we are given that ring R is Artinian ring, left Artinian ring, so by definition of left Artinian, we can say that this family F2 must have a minimal element. Let us take the minimal element of this family is R into 1 minus E intersection A. Now we claim that this element is 0. We prove it by contradiction. Let if possible R into 1 minus E intersection A is non-zero. Now R into 1 minus E intersection A, this is non-zero left ideal of the ring R. And in the previous step we have proved every non-zero left ideal of the ring R contains a non-zero idempotent. So this left ideal of R that will contain a non-zero idempotent. So let us consider this non-zero idempotent is E1. E1 belongs to R into 1 minus E intersection A. and E1 is non-zero. Because E1 belongs to this intersection, it means E1 belongs to R into 1 minus E, as well as E1 belongs to A. So from here we can say that E1 is non-zero and belongs to A, and all the non-zero idempotents in A, they are in S. So we can say that E1 belongs to S. Also from here, because E1 belongs to R into 1 minus E, so we can write E1 as R into 1 minus E, where this R is an element of the ring R. Now let us find E1 into E. E1 is R into 1 minus E. So when this is multiplied with E, we get R into E minus E square. E is an idempotent, so E square is same as E. So this will become 0. So we have proved E1 into E is equal to 0. Now let us consider an element E dash defined as E plus E1 minus E into E1. Now E and E1 both belongs to A. So this expression, that will also be an element of A. So we can say that E dash belongs to A. Now let us find the square of E dash. We will prove that E dash is idempotent and E1 into E dash is non-zero. So let us consider E dash square. E dash square means E dash into E dash. Substituting the value of E dash is E plus E1 minus E into E1. Now multiplying these two expressions and using these three conditions, E1 is idempotent, E is idempotent, and E1 into E is 0. So using the three, you can easily verify that E dash square is equal to E dash. It means E dash is an idempotent. Now let us find E1 into E dash. E1 into E dash is E plus E1 minus E into E1. Multiplying, we get E1 into E plus E1 into E1 minus E1 E E1. E1 into E, that is 0, we have already proved. This is E1 square. Here E1 into E is 0. E1 is idempotent, so E1 square will be E1. And E1 is non-zero idempotent, so E1 into E dash is non-zero. E1 is also non-zero, so E dash should also be non-zero. And therefore, by definition, all the non-zero idempotents in A, they belongs to S. So E dash belongs to S. Now, for an element R1 belonging to the ring R, let us consider R1 into 1 minus E dash. Putting the value of E dash here, this can be written as R1 into 1 minus E minus R1 into E1 is having the value R into 1 minus E. Then R1 into E into E1. Here also we have substituted the value of E1. We can see that this expression belongs to R into 1 minus E. Now this element, this is an element of R into 1 minus E dash, and that is belonging to R into 1 minus E. So we can say that R into 1 minus E dash is contained in R into 1 minus E, and therefore R into 1 minus E dash intersection A will be contained in R into 1 minus E intersection A. Now we will prove that this containment is proper containment, means this is properly contained in R into 1 minus E intersection A. To prove this, let us take, because E1 is belonging to R into 1 minus E intersection A. We will prove that E1 does not belong to R into 1 minus E dash intersection A. We prove it by contradiction. Let if possible, the element E1 belongs to R into 1 minus E dash intersection A. So by definition of intersection, E1 belongs to R into 1 minus E dash as well as E1 belongs to A. Now because E1 belongs to R into 1 minus E dash, so E1 will be of the form S into 1 minus E dash, where S is some element of the ring R. Putting the value of E dash here, and let us find E1 square. E1 square means E1 into E1. Substituting the value of E1 here and multiplying with this E1, we can see that this expression will be 0 because E1 is cancelled with E1 and also these two terms are cancelled out. So we have proved E1 square is 0. But E1 square is same as E1. So E1 is 0. But this is a contradiction because E1 was non-zero element. So this contradiction proves that our assumption is wrong. Means E1 does not belong to R into 1 minus E dash intersection A. So we can say that R into 1 minus E dash intersection A is properly contained in R into 1 minus E intersection A. Now both of these are the elements of family F2, and this element, this is minimal element of family F2. So we are having a contradiction here. So this contradiction proves that R into 1 minus E intersection A, that is 0. Now let us take an element A belonging to A. A is contained in R, and A into 1 minus E, that will belong to R into 1 minus E because A is belonging to R. So this element will belong to R into 1 minus E. Also, this element can be written as A minus AE. Now A belongs to A, E belongs to A. A is an ideal of ring R. So A into E belongs to A. So the difference of these two elements of A will again be an element of A. So this element belongs to A. Also, this element belongs to R into 1 minus E. So the element A into 1 minus E belongs to the intersection of R into 1 minus E and A. But we have proved this intersection to be 0. So we can say that the element A into 1 minus E is 0. It means A minus AE is 0. So this proves that A is equal to A into E. And this is true for every element A belonging to A. So this proves that A is contained in RE. RE is contained in A. So from here we can say that A is equal to RE. So till yet we have proved that every non-zero left ideal of the ring R is of the form of R into E. Here E is some idempotent in the ring R. So we have completed the first step of this theorem, and the remaining part of this theorem we will continue tomorrow.